Cheating is a big common fear among people once they start dating. They're always wondering if the person they are with is capable of. And sometimes when people are faced with this horrible situation, they wonder, should I take them back? Should I just leave? What should I do? So today I will be reading a couple of cases of cheating, and let's see where this takes us. I found out that my girlfriend of 9 years is having an emotional affair, and I am having trouble accepting our relationship might be over. It's 5:30 right now. I have been up all night. I am shaking and I can't sleep. Just called in sick to work. My 24 male girlfriend, 24 female, has been acting different than usual lately and coming home a bit later than usual from work. I'm on a really tight schedule right now with work and school that I only get like an hour together every night before I have to go to bed, so I noticed this and saw her behavior change to a more depressed and aiming type of state. I tried bringing it up with her, but was always dismissed, saying that it was nothing. I always knew there was something up, but I could never get her to open up to me, and it secretly killed me inside. Fast forward to tonight, I am doing a late night grocery run and notice her car parked outside a random street. I was like, what the fuck? So I pulled over and saw a co-worker of hers hop out. A co-worker that we have had a problem with in the past. He told her that he liked her, but she told me she stopped talking to him. This was a few months ago. She immediately took off and I called her right away to ask where she was. And of course, she lied to me. I followed her back to our apartment and immediately confronted her for cheating on me and lying about where she was. She didn't even look that upset at first. All she kept saying was, I didn't cheat on you, we are just friends bullshit. After explaining how broken-hearted I am to find out she is most probably cheating on me and going behind my back and lying to me about hanging out with someone we had an issue with before, she started to bawl and realized our relationship is probably over. She insists they are only friends but has feelings for him and that she is very lonely and depressed because we both moved to a new city and don't know anyone, and that I have been stressed out a lot and not myself, and I am the only one she spends time with outside of work. When I asked her if she even wanted to continue our relationship, she looked blankly into the abyss with a long pause before saying, she doesn't know what she wants and she doesn't know if she's happy in a relationship. Hearing this utterly broke me, like a million shards of razor sharp glasses piercing my heart at a million miles an hour. I don't know what to do with myself. I have loved this girl deeply since we started dating in 10th grade, and even though we went through ups and downs, we have persevered through so much and accomplished a lot together. I feel so blindsided, betrayed, and just hurt beyond ways that I know how to communicate. I am having severe trouble in accepting that things are probably over. I have no trust anymore for her and frankly don't believe anything she says even though I love her. It's mentally tearing me apart. I cannot be with someone that I cannot trust or communicate with, but I cannot imagine my life without her. I don't have friends or much family to talk to, and the thought of me dealing with all of these issues alone brings me to a very dark place in my mind. I know I should leave, but I don't think I am brave enough to do it or if I even want it, but I deserve better than how I'm being treated by her. We said we are going to try to work through these issues and give each other time to think before coming to a decision. She is currently sleeping in bed next to me, and I cannot help but sit here and cry with my dark thoughts while writing this. A disclaimer first, it is always the fault of the cheater. If you are with someone and you do not communicate, you are having these needs in your relationship, and instead of talking, you decide to go behind your partner's back and finding what you need, that's absolutely wrong. When you're in a relationship, the first thing that you need to do when you're faced with a problem, when you're faced that with a situation that there's this need that you have that it's not being fulfilled or met, you need to go to your partner and talk about it. With that said, it's pretty clear to me that what is happening here is a communication problem. So let me explain myself before you question what I am saying. What I am saying is that these two took a decision and moved to a new city. In this new city, she didn't know anyone except her boyfriend. And what happened with the only person that she knew in that city? He was always busy. And obviously, we need to consider his point of view. It's very unfair that he is working and studying at the same time and he is facing all this stress. And instead of understanding where he's standing at that point in time, she went around to another guy. Sure, I get that, and I will return to that point later. But for now, let me go back to her. So she is faced with this new loneliness, right? And she met someone that starts giving her this attention that she so desperately needs. So what happened with this woman and her coworker? So I can imagine that they do spend a lot of time together. They began talking and laughing and sharing opinions and likings, and they began to find out that they have a lot in common. And little by little, the more like further away that she grew from her boyfriend, she started getting closer to this new coworker because in reality, she is seeing her boyfriend an hour a day and she is seeing her coworker 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours even. I don't know the schedule of this person, but sometimes when you have a serious job, there's days when you stay beyond like your 8-hour shift. And believe it or not, this happens a lot to a lot of couples. They start finding these new routines and they get unsynchronized. Why does this happen? Well, when you are with someone for so long as your partner, you will start facing these new changes. You will go through many stages of your life together. And even if just before that point you were able to overcome every single obstacle and new stage, and you have been able to make it work no matter what, it can happen that you can be faced with a new stage in life that will change, the rhythm of your life, how much time you have, like how much time do you have for yourself, how much time do you have for your partner, for your hobbies, etc. So in this case, right, like these two people, one of them fell into this new rhythm where there's no longer time for them to spend together. And what happens is that this person can no longer give like the 50 that they need to give to make the relationship work. So it falls down. And in this case, like 1 hour a day, like from being at 50, what he's doing for the relationship went down to 10%. And so she was faced with this big emptiness. And sadly, that gave space to this new person to come in into her life and start giving her what she is missing. Now, I'm not blaming the guy at all. I am just explaining that life can be very complicated and sometimes you feel out of rhythm with the person that you love, no matter how many years you have been together. And this is where the real challenges in a relationship start. Like this, I think that this might have been the first real challenge this couple has ever faced. Again, because what she needed to do was to go to him and tell him, I'm feeling very alone. I'm not liking this. I don't know what can we do for me not to feel this alone or to feel this isolated from everyone, because that's what I'm feeling and we need to work this out because this will end up badly. That's what she needed to do and she didn't do it, and now they were in this situation. This guy says that he is afraid to be alone, and I wish that he would face being alone. Because I think that when you are too afraid of being alone, it's when you need to be alone because clearly you need to learn to be your own independent person. So, what happens next? Well, in this story, the guy said that they have decided to try to make things work again. However, and this is a big however, because this is the main problem with couples when someone cheats on the relationship. He is not only utterly heartbroken, but he feels like he can no longer trust her, but he feels like he cannot be alone. Do I believe that you can make things work out after cheating? Personally, I don't. Personally, if someone cheats, it doesn't matter how alone or hurt I am, I'll leave. But in the case like them, that they decided that they want to give it another try, I do think that yes, they can work it out. But it depends if they can really let go. He needs to really think if he will be able to let go of her betrayal, if he will be ever able to truly forgive her. Because I think that sometimes people say that they have forgiven someone, but deep inside, like the wound, it's still there and they keep thinking about it and it's basically haunting them. So that's not truly forgiving. That's saying that you do, but you're swallowing the hurt. And that sometimes leads to failure because you are really not getting rid of the feelings that are making you feel like that. You are only like hiding them inside you and pretending that you don't have them anymore. So I do think that in the long run he needs to think that if he will be able to do that. So for her, what I would suggest is that she really needs to take a look at her life right now and say, am I able to give the 90% in this relationship right now? Because obviously she has proved that she is not capable of. She is not capable of giving like that percentage that he's not being able to give at that time, because that happens a lot in love. You know, like a lot of people just love to say that a relationship needs to be 50-50. And yes, of course, that's reasonable, but there's going to be times when your other half won't be able to give that 50-50, and you will need to give that percentage they are not being able to give, so the relationship can work. Like you do need to put yourself in their shoes and be like, this person needs my support right now. So in this case, the boyfriend needed her support. Like he was doing two things at the same time. He was barely having any time to himself, let alone to be with her. And obviously, she's in her right to say, you know, you are barely here with me. I feel too alone. I'm not liking this new life, and this relationship is not for me. She can say that. But if she's deciding to stay with him, then she does need to compromise, that she will give, you know, what he's not being able to give her, and understand that it's not that he doesn't love her, it's not that he doesn't want to be there with her, but he's too busy. He wants to be with her, and she just needs to trust that and clutch into that and show him, you know, that she is willing to do what it takes for him to finally truly forgive her. And how can she do that? Well, she needs to grow closer to him. Like that hour that he has with her every single day, that hour needs to be precious. You know, like let's have dinner inside, let's watch a movie, an episode of a series that we both like, and start bonding again. And so I think that if these two wants to make it work, that would be my suggestion. But it will take a lot of work from both parts to reach that agreement. I just looked at my husband's Amazon purchase history on a whim, and I wasn't the only one he gave a Valentine's gift to. So, I didn't think there was anything coming in the mail anytime soon, but I wanted to see if there was anything new. I first saw the gift he got me, which was a thoughtful one. Then saw a second, very similar one that I did not receive. I looked at the order details and it was sent to a female friend of his from our hometown. To me, their friendship is a very odd one and crosses emotional lines, but he's always been very protective of it, so I never tried to get between them. She was also in a long term, on again, off again relationship with someone she almost had a child with. Sadly, the baby didn't make it, so I tried to get past it as a me problem. But it really isn't normal to give your now single female friend a Valentine's present, right? The gift is roses preserved under glass, like Beauty and the Beast. Even if she was lonely and lost a baby a couple of years ago, that's going too far, right? I can't tell if I am going crazy or if the situation is crazy. It is past midnight where I am, and my husband has an early morning. So, while I am definitely planning on asking him about it, I can't right now. That's why I'm looking for some perspective from Reddit. My husband got a female friend a rose themed Valentine gift very similar to what he got me, and I am wondering if it's an overreaction to be freaked out by that. The one she received has a message saying, I love you, beautiful, while mine didn't have anything like that. Though he does tell me in person other times. Her was also a gift wrapped, while mine wasn't. This is a tale as old as time. It's very simple, so I can guess, and this is my guess, I can always be wrong. But I do think that sometimes it can happen that two best friends can fall in love and never be together, but they can carry on that love forever. And sometimes once they grow up, they realize that those feelings are still there, but they have built lives with other people, so they feel like they can never work it out and the chance to make it work is gone. And eventually, they fall into doing these type of things. Because judging by the friend that she was having an on and off relationship with someone else, maybe it was the case that she was kind of like an emotionally unstable person, or maybe she had like trouble with commitment, or it was like very conflicting. So the husband was like, I have these feelings for her, but I don't think that she is a good option to have a family. And then she met her and they got married because he wanted that stable life, but he can no longer like get rid of his feelings for his friend. I mean, then again, I might be just creating this fake movie in the back of my head. That can also be the possibility. However, the OP wrote, she is across the country, which adds another reason as of why he's with his wife and not with that other woman. She is across the country, but he's been planning what he calls a boys' trip for a while now. I am also planning on asking him if she's part of his plan for when he's back there. OP also mentioned in past comments he's had an affair in the past. That for me kind of seals the deal. Like, this guy has feelings for this other woman. Because, first of all, why would you hide that you bought a gift for Valentine's for your friend? Maybe your friend is recently single and she's having a very hard time, and you wanted to give her something to make her feel better. But the guy didn't even say a thing about the gift. Like, we can always argue, well, maybe he didn't tell his wife because he didn't want an unnecessary fight because this meant nothing. I'm sorry, but why would you do something that you know it will hurt or it will get your partner angry? Why would you do it? Like, that should be enough evidence that what you are doing is wrong and that you shouldn't be doing it. If you need to keep it a secret from your partner, then you're doing something wrong. If you find yourself excusing why you are keeping secrets from your partner, then you need to question your relationship or what are you doing with that person, because there is this saying that I absolutely love, that is, secrets are walls keeping us apart. The more secrets you keep from your partner, the more distance you will grow from each other. And just like someone here said, he is not going to tell you the truth. He has already shown you that he is comfortable lying and deceiving you. And you know that he is going to be seeing her on that boys' trip. Trust your gut on this one and not what you wish were true. The original OP from this story deleted the account. So basically, we might never know what happened, but I truly, truly hope that she got out of there and she is now out there looking for someone that will exclusively love her. Now we have a story from the other side of the spectrum. Let's read it. Fiance thinks I am cheating on him at work. I work from home most of the time. I rarely have to go into work, maybe every Tuesday or every other day. I work in an office. I sit beside an older lady, and there are many people in the office at a time. I mistakenly told my fiance that I thought all of my bosses were attractive men and dressed nice. Keep in mind, I also said this about the girl in my office. I'm 27, my fiance is 32, and my bosses are all in their mid 40s with wives and children. I barely ever talk to them. Maybe one conversation when I'm in the office, and it's always about work. My fiance was mad I rarely texted him today because I was busy at work. I work at a tax firm and it's her busy season. I don't have time to text all day long. He said, I don't know what you were doing at work and that I like the attention they give me. These men literally give me zero attention, and I am seriously socially awkward and hate conversing with people, so I like to keep dialogue to a minimum. I find this behavior very immature and toxic. What can I do to help him overcome his insecurities? Well, as I mentioned at the start, cheating is a very common fear. And I do think that this has to do that either he was cheated on the past by someone and maybe he's not telling, or those comments about how attractive the bosses are at that place really get to him. Because this is just like in the first story. The people that you work with are going to be the people with who you spend most of your time with, right? So maybe in this case, it isn't because she says that she barely has to go to the office, that she works from home a lot. However, after those comments, every time she goes to the office, he's probably thinking about how it would be easy for someone to approach her and start talking to her, and how easy it would be for her to find them attractive. Because I think that sometimes when someone gets very jealous or insecure about their partner cheating on them, it's because, when we are in love, we sometimes think that everyone sees our partner like we see them. We see this amazing, beautiful, handsome person that they are amazing, and we think that every single person in the world will see them like that. And I mean, like, and the question after all was, how can she help him get over his insecurities? This is where we get in tricky territory, because if she needs to spend more time at the office, he might be getting more controlling and more jealous, and they can start having very big fights. Because insecurities, I do believe they save money, but I say that just beside money, insecurities are the root of all evil. So I just think that there's only so much you can do, right? Because you cannot give up your work, you cannot tell your bosses, I don't want to come to the office anymore because my fiance might get jealous. You cannot do that. We agree on that. So the options here are very limited, actually. So the course of action that I would suggest would be to talk to him, ask ask him why he is so insecure about it. Like, why is he feeling like that? Try to get to the root of the problem. So I would sit down with him and I would try to ask him, where does these insecurities come from? Like, what have I done that have made you believe that I would cheat on you? What has happened in your life that makes you so nervous about your partner cheating on you? And after that, I would try to assure him that there's nothing he needs to be worried about, and he needs to trust me and trust the relationship, because we cannot get to a point where things become toxic. I think that sometimes where couples talk, they are very afraid to say, to even mention that things can end up badly between you two if you don't try to work things out. We try to tiptoe around the bad consequences, you know, of our toxic behaviors. Maybe the issue is bigger than you think. I really do believe that people who cannot handle having a civil, serious conversation about a very serious topic like the romantic relationship that you are having together says a lot. My fiance cheated and I stayed. I still don't trust him. Should I leave now? My fiance and I have been together for 3.5 years, and the relationship from the start was cheating. I found a year later he slept with his ex, but I always had a gut feeling and would ask him periodically, which he would lie and deny it. Months later, after I caught him, I started using dating apps, and I would leave him but always come back. It was hard to leave because we lived together and I really didn't have anywhere to go. Anyways, a year later, I went through a hard time in my life, which caused me to be very depressed on top of being insecure because of the past cheating I couldn't get over, and we started arguing a lot. This was months after he proposed. It may have been my intuition, but I felt like he was cheating again because he would leave for hours and block me so I couldn't contact him, even tried text now, and of course he cheated again and it broke me so bad I attempted We broke up for a couple of months and he moved away, but we did talk from time to time and ended up back together. I fought the girl he cheated with since she knew me and knew about us being together and threatened my life. But after I fought her, he apologized to her like he owed her something. We are now expecting a child in August, and I am not sure if I want to continue the relationship since I can't trust him. Every time we argue, he calls me out and used to put his hands on me, but stop. Doesn't make it right, but I have hit him too when I found he cheated. Our relationship seems better now, and we both been to therapy to work things out, but I still think at any time he might go cheat again, even though he reassures me he won't. I want a beautiful, healthy relationship with him, and we are the bestest friends when we are not fighting. But I don't know if I should leave or stay. Our family thinks we should continue to work it out, but some days I have my doubts. I think my opinion is kind of obvious. She needs to leave immediately. But someone wrote, if you do not trust him, then leave him. You should be able to trust the person you're getting married to, not constantly wonder if they cheated since they have done so far. And she said, right, but also we're having a child together, so I am at a crossroad. You can co-parent, okay? You can co-parent in this situation. Because what happens here is that not only they have not been able to break the cycle of abuse, of violence, of toxicity in the relationship, it has gotten worse. First, he cheated. He was always cheating. Then, like, they start hitting each other and calling names and doing all this stuff. And the relationship, at this point, I don't think it has any saving. And if you're bringing a child into the world with this person, you're bringing them to this cycle. You will introduce this new life to this cycle of violence. Like she says that she wants to have a beautiful relationship with him. I do believe that she can have a beautiful relationship, but not with him. And here she says, right, that when they're not fighting, they are the bestest of friends. But realistically, there's no relationship in this world that won't face hardships. There's no couple in existence that won't fight. Every single couple has arguments. So if every time you fight things get this bad and you feel so insecure in your relationship and you do not trust him, why would you expose your child to that relationship? Why would you show your child that love is calling each other names and hitting each other and being like this and having a father that is constantly cheating on her and she being hurt and crying? And this sounds like a nightmare for a child. So should I leave now? Yes, for the sake, not even like her own sake, but for the sake of her child, because you can still be a family and not have your parents together. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes even it can be the case that when these two people are together, it was very toxic and now they have a child. But now that the two of them are apart and do not live together and do not share a romantic relationship, sometimes it happens that two people can be together and be toxic like this. Like they are toxic together, so they decide to split apart and co-parent together but not be together. And it turns out that the relationship like that, like the relationship like with the two of them being apart, turns out to be much more healthier and better for everyone than staying together. I think that what bothers me the most about this story is that it's not about her anymore. It's about the kid. Like once you bring a child into the mixture, you do need to put them first. Good for you if you want to keep in this cycle, but please don't bring the kid into that cycle. Like she knows it's wrong. She knows it's not healthy. So why would you want to give that to your child? You know what I'm saying? But that was everything for this time around, my little darlings. I hope that you enjoy it, and I will be back next week with more cases. And with that said, this has been Mrs. Cupid just for you.